Have you ever experienced a lot of the hot and cold patterns of a fearful avoidant attachment style and really struggled to find your footing to understand or decide whether this person is romantically interested in you or not? Maybe you've been on one date, maybe a few dates, or maybe it's a friend, but you just feel like there might be something more there. Well, in this video, I'm going to take you through four texting habits of the fearful avoidant, specifically when they are not interested in somebody in a romantic way. And especially if they do get some sort of insight that that person might be interested in them, how they may cope with this or what they may try to do to kind of communicate that they are not looking for something romantic at this time. So we're going to go through four habits. I will also share some important tips and tools for this video. So the first texting habit that you'll often see is that the fearful avoidant hardly follows up. Now, what I often see happen is people can get confused as to whether the FA is interested or not, because when fearful avoidants are with people, they tend to be very present. They tend to be very like there. And so sometimes that degree of presence also creates a certain degree of deeper connection. And that deeper connection can easily be misconstrued for something romantic, even though it might just be the fearful avoidance kind of operating state in terms of how they show up when meeting new people or when spending time with somebody in general. So what you'll see specifically is that the FA hardly follows up at all, and that they're not really texting often not getting back to you, even sending sort of like indirect answers to things. Maybe you ask them to get together again or just spend more time together. And they say something like, oh, that sounds fun, but they don't really follow up to make a plan. Or if you do, they kind of avoid it. Like there's this really, this disparity essentially between how warm the FA can be when they're in person and they're very present versus how they can be over text. Whereas when an FA is really romantically interested, at least in the beginning stages, they'll tend to mirror that interest back. That's really congruent with how they show up in person. So they will be, making an effort and showing up and quite consistent with text messages, at least in the early stages of dating, though that may change a little bit later on. By the way, if you want to go through in a lot of detail, a whole course about like the fearful avoidant handbook, like how they are in each of the stages of dating and relationships and all of the patterns and the signs and what to pay attention to, and also the potential issues that can arise and how to mitigate those things in advance so you don't have to go through that rocky period of a relationship with an FA. I have a course that you can check out, and you can use the coupon code with you as you enter into the all access pass. I'll put the link below. It actually gives you 25% off of the personal development school, all of our courses, all of our pass, everything for life. So you can use that coupon code below. And it will, if you type in advanced fearful avoidant in your dashboard and you see that course come up, that whole course is basically the handbook of like how the fearful avoidant operates, how they act, how they show up, their emotional patterns, their behavioral patterns, literally everything. So it can be really useful to do a deep dive into, and it'll help you like kind of mitigate those potential pain points in advance through proper communication, proper boundaries, really like helping ask the appropriate questions to help the fearful avoidant open up a little bit as well. So anyways, you can check that all out. And that also comes with live webinars I do with our students every single week. I do 4 of them. So that's always exciting as well. The second thing that you'll tend to see when a fearful avoidant is not interested is that they may talk about other people romantically over text. Now, I've often had people come to me and say things like, hey, is this them trying to make me jealous? Because when we were together recently, like they were so present, they were really available. But generally, if this is how they're showing up over text, fearful avoidants won't try to make somebody jealous until much later in relationships and dating. And it's sort of an anxious leaning thing that people do when they're looking for validation, but don't have the emotional literacy or words to just communicate directly and say, hey, what are you feeling about the relationship right now? Like, how do you feel like things are going? Like when they don't feel comfortable opening up directly, they'll use these kind of indirect coping mechanisms, like trying to make people jealous. Fearful avoidants don't usually do that in the dating stage. So if you're seeing texts like this, or even conversations like this in general in the dating stage, this is a representation way more often than not of the fearful avoidant trying to potentially friend zone you and kind of let you know that they're interested in other people, that this is just a friendship. So really important thing to pay attention to. Number 3 if they in general make friend zoning comments. Fearful avoidants are fairly direct. Like, I know with all individuals, before we really know somebody and form an attachment in the dating stage, everybody's kind of on their best behavior. So you won't have a fearful avoidant as direct as they might be when they're in a relationship where they just tell it how it is and just say what's on their mind and communicate so directly. But they'll do much more direct things than other attachment styles. So making friend zoning comments like, I really appreciate our friendship, or you're such a great friend, things like that. Again, sometimes people are going, are they trying to tell me I'm not showing up enough or trying hard enough, or and no, they're usually just trying to say like, this is what I see as a friendship. And it is important to take those things literally if you are hearing them from a fearful avoidance. And another thing that may happen is they may ask about other people romantically in your life. So that's number 4. They may say, hey, how's it going with so and so? Or hey, I felt like you had a connection with this person. And they're trying to move it out of like any potential romantic partnership and into this friendship where, hey, we talk about friendships, or we talk about romance with other people because we're friends and that's what friends do. And they're trying to really like move it in that direction. So it's really important. If you see those short messages, if you see these really indirect answers, not following up to make plans, if you see them talking about other people romantically, asking you about people romantically, or making friend zone comments, even just one of those things is a pretty important sign that the FA isn't like truly interested in a romantic relationship, or very unlikely to be. But if you see a few of those, more than one, you can really sort of like read where that's at. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, then how do I win them over if we're at that place? It's just important at the end of the day that you check out your standards. What do you want in a relationship? Do you want somebody who's not showing up back, or do you want to be with somebody who like meets your needs for communication and wants to participate openly in that relationship with you? And there can be just compatibility challenges sometimes where people have different needs, different interests because of their subconscious programming and their subconscious comfort zone for what love is or should look like. So it's just important to take all of those things into consideration. Again, if you want to learn more about the fearful avoidant and like how they're likely to show up, if you are the fearful avoidant, you want to learn more about yourself too. I mean, you can go through the advanced fearful avoidant course. It's like the playbook for a fearful avoidant, like how they show up in the dating stage, the potential challenges, fears, pain points, everything, all through all of the stages, the honeymoon stage, the power struggle stage, like how to work through those things in advance, stability, commitment, bliss stages, like all of those things are really packaged in there together, like sort of a little roadmap for you, with tools and strategies for how to work through a lot of those things. So, anyways, this is it for this video. If you're enjoying this content, please subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. And also let me know like different texting habits that you see with fearful avoidance below. Or if you are a fearful avoidant and you're not interested in somebody, what do you tend to do? I would love to hear from you. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.